of the various kinds of issues that are current at this time, what do you think are the ones to watch in terms of, say, how our collective future is going to be in the next 4 or 5 years? And what are the ones that are a distraction? Is it important that Schwarzenegger won the governorship or took the governorship, or describe it as you will? Or is that a distraction from other things that are, maybe the deterioration of the environment that has consequences that may trump everything?
Well, I mean, generally speaking, I think almost everything that happens is a distraction. I mean, this distracts from that, when that distracts from this, and so I think just kind of generally speaking. But what I don't know, I don't. The future that I see, and this is the state's going to assume in the next few years. The state will assume more police power, authority. The economic situation will become intense for a larger percentage of people. And the very existence of this thing between the state getting more authority, police authority, and the economic situation becoming more desperate for people, a larger amount of people, then these two things are going to produce their own dynamic. So I just personally think that it's just like, the society is stepping off into the futuristic police state. And I think that the citizens or the people or however people identify, that they should really consider that, that possibility. And do what they coherently think is the best about it. But it's coming, it is. It's just, the things are too, because I mean, like Schwarzenegger and him, the main thing, I have an attitude against Schwarzenegger because he's kind of just like did what I consider to be this racist attack against the native gaming people, so against Indians and gambling, all right? And so I have this attitude about him immediately, so he was surely a distraction to me, right? But here's this immigrant gets off the boat and he sees some Indians have something, so so it's such a typical behavior from those newly getting off the boat. So I have attitude with him about that. But the rest of it is, if Californians voted him in, then they deserve him. This says a lot to what the public is. I mean, what people's sense of how they feel, their powerlessness or their emotionalism or whatever it is. See, I mean, but if they allowed this to happen, then they deserve him. And he's already warned the Indians. He wants to take us on. So so. All right. Oh, but then other than that, with him, Nazi drippings.
Yeah. Whoa.
Because his father was a Nazi, and the other thing I find that's interesting about that, I just saw it in the news today, that Prescott Bush, George Bush's grandfather, had one of his financial institutions seized and shut down by the federal government because he was working with the enemy, the Nazis. And he's Nazi drippings.
Right.
And in a way, that's what it's really all about. I think the Nazi drippings are just kind of happening now into the ingredient, or into the ingredient of the 1,000-year reich. The Nazi drippings are now happening in this society. All right, to just kind of get more control over people. And I think that's where it's headed. The manipulation of economics, just the reality that, see, the people really have no say, and they know it. They can complain and they can do whatever, but they don't really have any say, and the state knows that. They know this. They know they can get away with what they want. They control almost all the acts. So in that sense, things are pretty bleak, I think, for any idealistic or practical concepts of free or freedom, whatever, that this individuality and all of these rights to private, all of these things. See, I just think that those who now, the state, has control of all of those things. And when we look at the state itself at the national level, it is controlled by the religious right-wing extremist. All right, and so extremism seems to be at the helm. And the way it's unfolding in this country, there does not seem to be anything in the near immediate foreseeable future that can deal with it, that can even begin to effectively deal with it. All there is ahead is just to react to it and complain against it. I mean, that's not going to stop it. You know, so I think that turmoil, you know, I think hard times are coming. But those hard times may not be obvious to every segment of the society, just to the segments of the society that are going to experience it at this time. I think people need to take more responsibility for how they participate in what's going on. That's the only self-defense I can think of.
Well, the mute proclaimed the glories. Deaf man listened closely as he danced, seeing into pictures blind man painted. Mother Goose and brothers grim laughed knowingly up their sleeves. The grown-ups are the children's children, captured and taught what to believe, sampling fables and other realities.
Fables, fables they are not reality, reality they are not
Prototype people, rigid suit trolls near brain dead, under for spacious skies gathering storm clouds, rule of law, a falling axe in stormtroopers' hands, cruel class deceivers claim God for their side, making up stories with places for meanings to hide. Dracula drinks